Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and talk about this story. And I know that this is like from back in 2016. I usually don't talk about these topics, but given everything that's going on with the organ harvesting, the studying of melanin, the people coming up missing, their birth rate declining, the artificial wombs, I think this is something that we should kind of delve into because it goes back to an overall agenda of survival that I've been talking about and telling you guys about that they're on. And so you have this news topic talking about a white couple explains their decision to give birth to Black triplets and adopt Black children. Now, we also know that, I believe, what was it, last year when that woman who had the adopted children, she chose to, now they're saying that ultimately she chose to drive them off a cliff. And this was involving a boy who was in the headlines because he went and was crying, hugging a cop. He was attached to that family. They were said to have been abusive. CPS called on them all the time, only for the outcome to be them driving to San Francisco, then them ending up dead, some people coming up missing. Now they know all of the children were affected by it, and these two, it was a lesbian couple who was abusing the Black girl. Now it's come out that they purposely were on a suicide mission and killed all those kids. So we already understand what's been going on. Now you have a story that came out in 2016 where it talks about this white couple who decided to give birth to Black triplets and know that this is not their natural biological children. It is not possible for white people to give birth to Black children naturally. So we have to look at what's really going on here with this story. But it says, in an article written for the Washington Post, Aaron Halbert explained how he and his wife had difficulty conceiving natural and later learned that white children are more likely to be adopted. Okay, so now understand that this is their biology. A lot of them can't have children naturally. The sperm count of the men is very low. The women with their biology, they have difficulty carrying babies. And so this is something that's going on globally in the white diaspora. So they weren't able to have children on their own, but he said they felt a calling to provide a home to a child who may not have otherwise been adopted. So again, it's about what narrative are they trying to put out there. And the narrative that I believe they're trying to put out there is this is the white couple who are Christians and they just decided to do something beneficial for the Black community. And we know the history of white Christians and how nothing that they do is actually beneficial. There's always some insidious intent behind it. But it says they went to an adoption agency in Mississippi and adopted 2 Black children, 1 boy and 1 girl. They said their family has been met with varying degrees of racism and acceptance. Okay, so the girl is actually biracial and the boy is Black. So it's interesting. They wanted the girl. They didn't really want, keep in mind, I said that they don't really want Black girls. So notice how the girl is very fair skinned. She's racially ambiguous. She doesn't look like she's Black, but then they got a Black boy. Because I know that a white woman is involved in this too. So I think this is interesting how they got a racially ambiguous girl and a Black boy. It says there will always be the older white women in Walmart who stared at us with sheer disgust, or the African mother who looked at us and just shook her head. Yeah, because you shouldn't. But notice how when they talk about the racism, they have to include a Black person in here because they want to make it seem like, oh, well, Black people can be racist too. No, that Black mother is probably looking at you like that because she knows what you're going to do to psychologically and physically harm those children. But it says, however, there was also the young Black girl who wept when we told her this little boy with her skin color was our son, and the older white doctor who lovingly prayed over him and held him so tenderly. You guys, look at the language here. These later experiences were rays of hope, reminding us how far our country has come, while former experiences remind us how far we still need to go. Now, whenever a white person seems to take voluntarily association with anybody Black, They're saying, oh, well, we're dealing with you in some normal or perceived normal capacity. So look how far we've come from racism. Knowing when it comes to Black children being adopted by white people, there's always some kind of harm or child abuse coming to them. But they put these narratives out there because Black people buy into them. Like we were just on a panel where Black people, if you ask them, why is there no racism? They're going to equate it to a white person showing basic decency or just simply appearing to be nice to them. So this tends to work. This works on Black people. After adopting the pair, the Halberts still felt the calling to have more children. That's when they heard about the National Embryo Donation Center. So they're trying to say, oh, God guided us to get these Black children and get these frozen embryos. The nonprofit embryo donation program connects helpful parents-to-be who have problems conceiving with families who have successfully gone through in vitro fertilization and have leftover fertilized eggs. The extra eggs are frozen and stored for later use, according to the organization. Some of these embryos go to research, others are kept frozen indefinitely, and still others are left to die. The National Embryo Donation Center, a Christian organization, implanted Rachel with 2 African-American twin embryos. According to the Washington Post, one of them split. So then you have 3 little Black girls. I wonder how that white woman is about to treat them when they get older. It says, when we began the adoption process, we knew race could play a major role in our family dynamics, which led us to ponder deeply what a racially diverse family would look like. We believe when you look into any human's eyes, you look into the face of an image bearer of God, into those eyes of a person whose soul is eternal. While what is common thread of all humanity, it doesn't mean our racial differences are insignificant. We see the human family's varying physical characteristics as awesome reminders of God's creative brilliance. No, God didn't create them, though. God created Black people, period. Like, why would God need to create different races of people and create one that is genetically recessive to the degree that they are incompatible with nature? Well, why would God need to do that? It doesn't even make sense to put this on God. And this is why I don't take religion seriously, because when it comes to the creation of people, they lack, like they lack logic. They really do. They lack logic when it comes to this. Why would God need to create a bunch of different races of people? God didn't create that. Humans created that by way of colonization. That didn't have anything to do with God. God put one group of people on this planet that was Black people. Period. That's why you can look at them genetically. Fertility is going down, diseases, every natural indication that they should not be here, and they still want to put this on God. God will not create some humans that are not compatible with his nature. It just wouldn't happen. Why would God? Why? It makes no sense. They can't be out in the sun. They can't procreate. All of their diseases are basically, all of their genetics are diseased. Birth defects, nothing beneficial to their existence. Look at their psychology. Why would God create that? And then they said, it's not that we think race doesn't exist or that we don't see it. In fact, it's the opposite. We see it and we embrace it. He went on to write, I can remember a friend going through the adoption process telling me he had always wanted his family to look a little United Nations. They fetishize you. They're fetishizing these children, and they'll probably sit here and use them for other nefarious things. We just don't know. As I look at my growing family, I prefer to take it a step further, daring to hope that our family picture is a little hint of heaven. Do y'all see how ridiculous this is, though? And poor children, because they're growing up into, they don't even know. What is this white woman going to do to these 3 Black girls? Knowing when they went to do an actual adoption, they picked a racially ambiguous girl. So do you not think that this racially ambiguous girl is going to be taught to believe that she's superior to these little Black girls? Because that's what's going to happen. What sick perversion are they going to be exposed to by this white man? in addition to the abuse by this white woman, because we already know how white Christians are. I mean, at the very least, at least they gave them, it appears, there's one picture where, oh no, I thought they gave them little black dolls, but apparently not. Apparently I was wrong, because initially I thought they were holding little black dolls, but they weren't. So what is the image and the psyche of these little black children going to turn to? The molestation that the boy will most likely face at the hands of the white man. The abuse that the girls will face at the hands of the white woman. While this racially ambiguous girl, she gets propped up and made to believe that she is superior to them because she looks like she's white. She is no darker than this white man. These black children are about to be going through hell. That's just the reality of it. And then when they get older, what's going to happen? Is this couple going to drive them off of a cliff like the other ones did? Because see, a lot of people, they'll praise this and think, oh, well, we've just come so far. No, we haven't. You just have white people getting black children so they can continue to abuse them like they've been doing. This isn't anything new. It's just nothing new. And that's the thing that irks me, is that when we act like these things shouldn't be looked at in the context of what they should be looked at in. But you guys let me know what you think about this story. Definitely weigh in on it, comment, or like and comment the video. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you in the next one.